Hi everybody and welcome back to the channel. Today I'm gonna show you how to install MAME or MAME under Mac, for example. Actually, I'm using Mac, but the procedure is more or less the same for Windows. Actually, on Windows is way easier because you have an executable and you simply double click on the exe and start MAME. So the first thing, of course, is to download the MAME emulator. So we just Google it, MAME. I will give you the links in the description. Okay. So you go to the MAME or mamedev.org and download the MAME. And if you don't know what MAME or MAME is, it's an acronym for Multiple Arcade Machine Emulator. So actually it's a project that has been around for many years now. It's still in beta. There is no official, actually there's no final release. And it's an emulator for different game console. So it was born many years ago to emulate gaming console for video games. Actually, I've never been a huge gamer. I've never been interested very much in video games, but I'm using Synths. So in the last few years, there has been some emulation also for Synths or keyboards or something like that. So the first step, of course, will be to download MAME for your supported platform, and it's multi-platform. You can download it for Windows, for Apple, or for Linux. So let's download the Apple version. In order to do that, I will create first a folder here on my desktop. So let's call it the main MAME folder. Okay. So download it. So you can simply click on the main release, okay, here, or actually also here. So you simply click on the, for example, on the Apple macOS Intel, or for the different version that you want to support. Let's click here, and then I will download. Being on Apple, and I am on a Mac, Mini Mac M2, so it's a silicon machine. I will download the silicon version. Of course, if you have an earlier Mac, you can download the Mac Intel, or if you're on Windows, you simply click on the Windows release. You have additional links here. So let's download the Apple Silicon, and let's put it in my desktop folder, on the folder I have created here. Yeah, and the download is really very fast. And that's it for the download of the main folder. So let's go into the folder here and unzip it. So double click, and so simply unzip all the components. And we have a bunch of folders here. The first folder will be this one. Actually, at the moment we have version 0.2.8.2, and I will simply, for convenience, rename it to MAME, which is easier to type. And then we have some folders here, and the main folders is this one, is the ROM folder, because being an emulator means that you need to provide the ROMs for the games you want to emulate, or of course the ROMs for the synthesizers that you want to emulate. So you will simply need to download different ROMs and put everything into this ROM category. But before doing it, let's try to start the MAME. And on Windows it's really straightforward. You simply click on the MAME or the MAME executable, double click, it's an exe. On Mac it's a little bit more complex because you need to run it from terminal, and I believe on Linux it will be the same. And I didn't test it on Linux, but I believe it will be more or less the same. So we need to open a terminal window here on the main folder, subfolder, so this one. So I need to go here to Services, New Terminal Folder, and then make the text bigger, and then /MAME, and that's it. And this will open the main MAME interface. Probably will go at full screen. Let's see if it's working. Okay, we have a problem here because the executable is not being authorized to run on Mac, because Mac only supports signed application. This is a very pain in the ass usually for Mac users. So one simple way to do this is to use Sentinel. I have already demonstrated in another video about the use of Sentinel. And Sentinel is a very cool free application that simply will give the permission and the trust needed for the application to run. So we need to go again to the main folder, then go to the MAME inside the folder, and then to take the MAME here, the executable, so to speak, and then drop it into Sentinel, which will remove all the restriction. Then let's try to type again, and this time the application should work. Okay, so you see now we are at full screen, and we have the big list of available games. For example, if you go, of the unfiltered, and so this is the big and the huge list of ROMs. So this basically will tell you which games are supported, or which synths, of course, because if you go to manufacturer, for example, we can type in Yamaha, and if you click Yamaha, we can see we have some synthesizers that have been emulated. Just a word of warning, not every emulation will work, okay? So if you go, for example, on the DX7, the status at the moment is not working, so the graphics stays okay, so the graphic will be implemented, but the sound will probably not be working. Actually, sometimes the system will report the ROM as not working, but it actually works. So for example, if you go to the other implementations, such as the MU-50, okay, this is working. This is one of the emulation that is working very good, actually. Or we can go to the TX-81zand, this one, which says, okay, sound-wise it's imperfect, actually it's working pretty good. I don't have the ROMs here, so if I double-click, the system will report that we still need the ROMs. And in order to download the ROM, you need to specify, to search around. I'm sorry, I cannot provide ROMs here, because otherwise YouTube will block my videos. I've already been banned for a video in which I will show the ROM. But if you go to my website, there are some links and some hints on how to download the ROM. However, it's very simple. You simply need to Google around and you type the name of the synth and you type MAME and ROMs, and there are tens of sites providing ROMs. And in order to verify the ROMs for a specific synth, so let's say I want to use the emulation to the MU-50, I can type something like this, /MAME, the name of the emulator, so MU-50 in this case, which is an old tone generator, general MIDI generator from Yamaha, and then the list ROMs command. And this is telling me all the ROMs that are needed for the specific emulator, the specific game, or in this case, the specific synth. So if you want, you can simply search for the names of these ROMs, and this is very simple to get. And now, in order to make it work, I simply need to copy the ROMs into my ROM folder. So once you have obtained your ROMs and you have found them on the net, you need to copy them. You can simply copy the zip, and you need to copy it, of course, inside the MAME repository, the main MAME folder, into ROMs. So let me go here and let me simply drag and drop my mu50.zip, which is the actual ROM. And this is a big zip containing all the needed ROMs. There's no need to expand it. If you are curious, you can expand the ROM file, the zip file, and there are some components, some files into that. But you don't need it to unzip it. And this one will also probably need an additional component from the LCD screen. So I need to also copy the MU LCD, which you can again obtain online. So this now should be enough. We can now verify if the ROMs are present. So I can type again this command, which is again /MAME, and then the name of the emulator, so MU-50 in my case, and then another parameter, which is the dash verify ROMs. And this will verify if all the ROMs are present and if they are good. Okay, so the ROM set actually is not a single ROM, is good. one on set fun, and one we're okay. So now we can start our emulator, and the basic parameter and the basic command will be to simply execute again /MAME, the name of the emulator MU-50, and that's it. But this will open the emulator in full screen window, so a parameter that can be useful is to specify window, sorry, not Windows, window. So this will open the emulator in a single window and not in a full screen environment. And also, if the emulator supports MIDI input, you can specify MIDI in, sorry, with 2i, MIDI in, followed by the actual name of your driver, of your MIDI driver, of your MIDI synth, whatever. And this on Mac should be the exact name of the MIDI interface or the MIDI synth that you're using. In my case, I will use the YAC driver, so let me put driver YAC exactly as it's written, also with capital letters, bus1. So this is the name of my internal driver on my Mac. On Windows it will probably be the same. You need to specify the name of the driver or the name of the synth. So the synth can be controlled by using this MIDI input. Again, not every synth will work with MIDI input. So let's start this, and this should open. Here we go. This should open the emulator in a window. You can of course resize the window. Okay. Then we click here on the first page. It will simply tell you all the ROMs needed. You click, and then we have here the emulator. It's working. Okay, very good. So everything is working as expected, as you can see, and the interface should be working. So you can click around and move things around, and for example, you can check if this emulator is working by using the demo. For example, the demo sounds that are inside the unit, or for example, you can go to the system. Okay, you can move using the select buttons in this case, and then entering. So for the system, I can, for example, make the screen a little bit brighter. Okay, we have the contrast here, so this is the actual unit. So I move around here, and then I can specify the new value by here, by going here to value. So I will increase the contrast and then exit the system. And then let's move to the demo. So let's click select to demo, then we click enter, and the demo will start. So we need to press enter once again, and then we need to exit the demo using exit. Yes, okay, that's enough. There's a lot of reverb, of course. We can go to effect, for example, and remove the reverb. So let's click on enter here, and we can move the reverb, but change the type of reverb, or we can also, sorry, here, remove the effect completely. So if we're now going to use the demo again, it will play without any reverb effect, and we can also try to remove the chorus or the time variable, which probably will have some delay here. Okay, let's remove again the delay. Okay, so no effect on delay, maybe no effect also on the chorus, because I don't like to have these effects on the demo itself. Okay, no effect on everything, so we can play the demo just as is. So let's go back with exit again, this one, and then enter the util again and go to demo, enter again and enter. Yeah, and the demo is playing again. I think there's still a lot of reverb, but there is some reverb on the drums. And we can also change the interface by going, again, you need to search around. There are different artworks, so you can go to the MAME and to the artwork folder. And if you go around, there are many different artworks for the specific synths. So basically there are only JPEG or SVG files, and we can move again in this artwork folder the MU-50, for example, zip, which contains different layouts and different artworks actually for the synth. So we can now start again. So the same command as before, so by just pressing the up key on my keyboard, and this time the emulator will have another face, will have another artwork. So again, it's starting. You see here a bit nicer, I think, a better implementation. But the synth, the emulation is the same, and it's working as well. So you can go to the util. Okay, let's begin. Let's start. Okay, you can remove it. You can resize it. Sorry. You can go to the util again here. You can go to the system and change again some system parameters such as the contrast. So maybe I want, in this case, I want a bigger contrast. Again, you see that everything is being emulated almost perfectly. Let's go back and let's go again on the demo. Enter the demo, play the demo. Or again, you can. Okay, it's working again. Or we can again play the external MIDI file. Oops, sorry, I need to go back to the play, exit the demo mode, and go to the play. And again, we have never gonna give you up. Okay, so let's test a couple of other emulators, for example. So we can use another emulator, which is the MU-5000 again. It's another kind of Yamaha emulator. In this case, we need to launch it using, again, the same command, which is /MAME, and the name of the emulator MU-5000. But this time, if you try to specify the MIDI in command, this will probably tell you that there are no supported MIDI imports. So let's try to use the MIDI in parameter driver jack bus 1. And you see we get an error, unknown option MIDI in, because this synth, this emulation at the moment doesn't support the MIDI in parameter, so we cannot use the MIDI in, but we can try to launch it. Again, we will need the ROMs. Okay, you see we missed the ROM, so we need to copy again the ROMs in that folder. So simply copy and paste the ROMs, and then let's try to launch it again. Again, it's going full screen in this case, and it's warning me that the emulation is not complete. In fact, this is not working very good, such as the other one. But still, we have most of the included parameters. I want to go back and I want to use again another artwork, so I can go and grab an additional artwork and put the artwork in the main folder, actually not in the ROMs but in the artwork. So this is basically an alternative artwork, and I want to execute it in a window. So again, we'll use the same command, so /MAME MU-5000, but we need to specify the window mode. Yeah, you can see the interface is different. It's, I think, a better artwork, as better designs. And this emulator will not accept MIDI notes in. I mean, there is no MIDI in, but we can try again to use the util and go to the different modes. You can go to sequencing actually, and in sequencing we have song, chain, or demo again. So we can click on select, go to demo, and then click enter. And then here in this case, on this unit, we have different demo song. We have this Really Love, or this Music Factory, or Imitation. We have 3 different demo modes. And since this unit also supports some sampling, actually, you can play this demo and you will hear we have some samples as well.
Sweetheart, we've been seeing each other for so long, and you make my day seem so beautiful. Before we go any further, there's just one thing I want you to know. I think this time the love is for real.
All that I do, I think of you. I really think is love this time. And every day when you're away. All that I do, I think of you. I really think is love this time. And every day when you're away. In the morning when I wake, I love to see you smile.
Okay, that's it. As you can hear, this is giving me some click and pops, so probably the emulation is not complete yet. Of course, some ROMs don't work really well. Yeah, and another ROM that is working really good is for example, the Casio CZ-101. So we can put the correct ROMs here. So let me grab my ROMs from another folder and copy the ROMs into the right folder. Copy and paste the ROMs here we go. So again, in order to launch it, we need to specify which emulation we want to launch. So again, we need to type something into the main window. So we go here and we type again ./MAME and then the CZ-101, which is the name of the emulator, again using window. Okay, there's a missing ROM because again we need a ROM to emulate the driver of the LCD screen. So we need to copy a bunch of additional files just to make sure we have the correct one. So let's go back again. Let's try to go into the correct folder. Okay, so now we have all the Hitachi drivers for the LCD. So let's go back here and try to type again the MAME command and then CZ-101 window. So yes, we have the main interface for the Casio CZ-101. You see the screen is not working, and if I press some of the keys with my mouse, it's working. We can of course change the presets because you see they have implemented all the different buttons here, so you can change the preset and the bank. We can also try to use MIDI with this one. So I can go back and type again the same command .MAME CZ-101-window, and I want to use the MIDI in command, and I have connected now my synthesizer, so my Uno Synth for example, so I will type as a MIDI in Uno Synth Pro, again using exactly the same name, also with capital letter, and this will start again the Casio, and we should be able to play it using MIDI as well. So let's try it. I'm playing with my MIDI keyboard now, and you can hear that it's working. I'm playing keys on my Uno Synth, and the synth is responding quite well. Again, this is a quite perfect emulation. We can move to another preset. Let's use this, yeah, the string ensemble. So that's it for today. If you want to stay informed with the emulation of the MAME, please check out my other videos. I'm just testing them and collecting the most beautiful one and the working one. And if you like this video, please like the video, subscribe if you haven't done already, and hit the notification bell to be informed on future videos. See you and bye.